You ready for roll?
Yes.
Arenas, Cohen,
Here.
Davis, Perales,
Here.
Jones.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to start out with the agenda for Tuesday, October 18th. Starting out on pages 4 and 5. Six and 7. Eight and 9. 10 and 11. 12 and 13. 14 and 15. 16 and 17. 18 and 19. 20 and 21. 22 and 23. 24 and 25. 'And that is it. There is an ad sheet for the maker of the motion. Before we go to public comments, actually, let's go straight to public comments.
Okay, call-in user 1.
Hi, thank you. Martha O'Connell, Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League, representing mobile home park residents in San Jose. We've been calling in for a couple of weeks, guys, on 8.3. I really need your help and guidance here. I need to tell people when approximately this item is going to be heard. As you know, the seniors cannot hang on the phone for 8 or 10 hours. It is exhausting. So if you could please give me a time certain or a not before or something that I can get the message out into the mobile home community today, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I just wanted to reiterate some of the few ideas I had about this agenda in previous weeks. You'll have items about lateral police hiring and the importance that we can consider ideas of the reimagined era and what can be more community-involved hiring practices of union representatives from, say, SEIU, and just everyday community to fill some police position jobs within the department itself. I know this lateral movement's more, I think, the officers on the street, but I would just keep that sort of thinking in mind. Hopefully those sort of conversations can be continuing openly at this time. And you have another item about encampment issues that a real good luck how we can address city-sponsored encampments with the ideas of nonprofits in control, possibly. And I hope we can talk about that subject more. I think it's important matter. Good luck in that sort of thinking for the encampment item. Thank you.
Caller 1541.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Glenna Howcroft, and I'm one of the chapter presidents here in San Jose for GSMOL. And I'm requesting that item 8.3 on the agenda on Tuesday be moved up to either late afternoon, early evening, or say time certain. I'm a senior. There's many seniors that are planning on attending this meeting. And I know in meetings in the past, we've had people that have literally had to drop off of the calls because they just couldn't stay up, late enough in the evening to deal with anything. So anyway, it would be greatly appreciated if it could be moved, if that particular item could be moved up to an earlier time. Just wait. You guys get to be seniors. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's not a piece of cake, trust me. So anyway, yeah, if you guys could move it up to an earlier time, it would be very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Back to the committee.
So my first question is, what's the age cutoff to be considered a senior? If it's 62, then I'm already there. Going back to the committee, first of all, Lee, in terms of load balancing, has this agenda been load balanced, particularly considering what we have going forward for the rest of the year?
Yes, this agenda and the next agenda look appropriate, some meaty items, but enough time for council to digest them. We will be coming forward with further agendas with recommendations to defer items in the future because those agendas do look congested.
Okay. And as far as the request for item 8.3, based on the agenda, do you see where an appropriate time certain or not before where we can place that?
Yeah, obviously up to the Rules Committee on how they would like to do that. I don't think that would be heard too late, but certainly if you wanted to do a time certain, you could have that noticed. What I would suggest is possibly after the threes, so 3.3 and 3.4. Specifically, 3.3 is the city manager's annual report. We will be requiring all senior staff to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is traditionally heard after consent, but after that item, you could have 8.3 to be heard after that item if you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to defer to the committee. Want to entertain a motion for this agenda?
Since you can't see our hands, I'll just chime in.
Okay. Yes, speak up.
Yeah. I'll make a motion for adopting this agenda with the ad sheet and make item 8.3 a time certain at 4 p.m. I don't think the meeting will go, I think it will go past 4, so I don't think that is a stretch, but I think making it 4 p.m., we see how much we can get done before that.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. And does anyone else want to comment or speak on this agenda? If not, Tony, roll call, please.
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the agenda for Tuesday, October 25th. And we'll start out with pages 4 and 5. Six and 7. Eight and 9. 10 and 11. 12 and 13. 14 and 15. and 16. All right, so we'll go to public comments.
I gave it a moment, but I have no hands for this item.
Okay. Bringing it back to the committee. Any questions, motions?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
On to the consent calendar. We'll take public comments.
I have Ruth. I think it's Marine. Here in public. Come on down to the microphone. That's the consent calendar.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Jones and members of the Rules Committee. My name is Ruth Marino, and I chair San Jose Community Energy Advocates. We're a volunteer community group that successfully advocated for the establishment of San Jose Clean Energy, and which continues to advocate for reducing greenhouse gas emissions to slow down the effects of climate change. I am speaking today in support of Mayor Sam Liccardo, representing San Jose at COP27 in Egypt. We have been seeing the increasing effects of climate change, most recently with the deadly and destructive hurricanes Fiona and Ian in our own country. San Jose has been a leader in addressing climate change, and it would be great for Mayor Liccardo to represent us. I'm very proud that San Jose Clean Energy is now providing 60% renewable energy and 95% GHG-free energy. It is important for us to attend events such as these to highlight our accomplishments, because we're often not included at similar conferences, such as the international C40 events, and yet we clearly are worldwide leaders. Furthermore, after these type of events, there are often opportunities presented for grant funding, and we need additional funding to advance our environmental goals and objectives. Climate change is not just a San Jose problem, but a global problem. And when Mayor Liccardo speaks at the conference panels, he can share with other cities our work, as well as learn new ideas that we can use here in San Jose. I hope that you will approve Mayor Liccardo's travel to COP27, and I look forward to following his work and the other COP27 information online. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to comment on consent calendar item B1. My name is Douglas Rice. I'm Vice President for the California Pilots Association, a former Santa Clara County Airports Commissioner, and have been a pilot of Maneta San Jose International Airport for 51 years. I brought this item forward due to concerns over safety and environmental issues at the airport. Many of the items have been brought up to both staff and the Airport Commission without any follow-up action. Some may have grant assurance implications as well. More recently, the obstacle of a required amendment to the commission work plan in order to address these issues was presented as an excuse for the lack of action. This is in spite of the fact that San Jose Muni Code 2.08.420B allows the public to request the commission to, quote, investigate, study, or review any matter pertaining to the airport or aviation, end quote. The airport rules and regulations section 25.12 and 25.14 are the primary focus of my request for action, having remained unchanged since Ordinance 25529 was passed in 1998. Current operational procedures contradict many of the rules stated in 25.12. For example, the air traffic control tower no longer operates 24 hours a day, rendering numerous portions of the Muni Code, at least in part, moot. Our airport also lacks facilities for small and mid-sized aircraft that cannot safely operate at other area airports. Other issues listed on the submission also deserve attention. Has the airport quantified revenue loss associated with the opening of Moffett Field to corporate aviation? How can the city affect the high cost of discourage purchases in doing business at the airport? I ask that the committee consider the issues presented and provide direction to the Airport Commission and staff to provide recommendations and resolutions to address these long-standing aviation community and public concerns. Thank you for your time.
Back to the committee.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Arenas? Arenas? Cohen?
Aye.
Davis?
Yes.
Corrales?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is open forum.
Blair Beekman?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I'm going to give this my best shot. Hopefully, if I miss, hopefully I can. I apologize and continue to make it up to yourselves. We had a Smart Cities Committee meeting on Thursday. It was a really good one in that I think a majority of the meeting emphasis and ideas were talked about community participation in the future of data collection and technology surveillance practices for the city of San Jose. It was a unique meeting, and I think it deserves a lot of credit in what city staff, what the mayor has helped groom and develop as a city staff that's going to learn how to be more and more dedicated, I feel, to the concepts of how community can be involved in the process of the future of our technology and surveillance and data collection practices. A really interesting concept that we're all learning together. And the mayor has started the process. After he leaves, city government will be continuing his initial intentions of good work, and we'll be building something really interesting for our future. With that said, Councilperson Mahan at the end of the meeting offered a cautionary note that we have to continue the practices of what our surveillance tech and data collection is meant for, and that's to protect community and economic concerns. And I took a bit of offense at that I feel that the work that we're doing towards accountability practices can very easily work with the questions of law enforcement and economics that Councilperson Mahan was offering. And that's what's so interesting about our work, and what the future of a community process can be about. It's a sharing of equal sides of all parts of the technology process, not just one over another. And that's an interesting future process. Good luck to ourselves with that effort. Thank you.
Call in user 1.
Yeah, hi, Martha O'Connell giving you guys a very serious heads up. The staff is proposing that San Jose explore becoming an LEA for the statewide Housing and Community Development Department. And LEA means that you would take over the inspection of the mobile home parks. I have been attending HCD web seminars for years. This is an extremely complicated issue. I am not sure where I stand on this, but we need to take this very seriously. I have questions about what is causing this. Why is the City of San Jose staff proposing that you guys take over the enforcement? I can tell you that I have sent an email to Matt Wise, who's the Director of Field Operations for HCD, and he has advised me that in the last 3 years, only one city has opted to become an LEA, while 6 others have requested being returned to the state. So this is very touchy. It is a serious issue, and I hope the council does its homework. And I look forward to a robust discussion on whether or not San Jose should do this. Thank you.
Okay, I have a request. Councilmember Arenas lost connection on consent calendar, and she would like to reflect a vote.
Yes, that's
Chair. I'd like to take out the request from the mayor, the request to travel B5, because I'd like to vote no on that one. And then the remaining items, I'd like to vote yes. I don't agree with this travel, and it's.
So what we would need to To
Mhm.
pull it out for a separate vote, we would need somebody who voted yes on consent to make a motion to reconsider the consent calendar.
I'll do that, Tony. This is
Okay.
Councilmember Morales.
I'll second.
Okay, so on the motion to reconsider the consent calendar, Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Okay, now you can make a new motion and discussion on consent calendar.
Great. Well, I'd like to separate. I want to make
I'll
a
move approval of the consent calendar other than the item that Councilmember Arenas pulled.
And that was,
I'll second that. So that'll be a separate item. Then we'll have to discuss.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll second that.
okay, so the motion on all items except for B5, Arenas,
yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Okay, now you're on B5.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for B5.
I don't know how my, obviously everybody voted yes on this, but I do have an issue with it. I don't know if maybe we just glossed over it, and I apologize. I had some technical issues, so I couldn't speak up earlier. And I'm wondering if there's any other of my council mates who would like to speak on this. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a motion. I'm just making a motion. It's not going to survive, and then I'm going to just vote no. So I'm asking if anybody else is considering that.
And I'm happy to discuss it too, but I see the mayor put his hand up.
Yes, I see that as well. Mayor?
Thank you. Forgive me, I've been out doing cleanups today, so my apologies for the attire. Happy to respond to any questions that folks might have. I think the memo is fairly self-explanatory. I've been asked to speak about the progress of the city with particularly other leaders who are focused on climate change in urban centers. And I think we all know how important that is, given that 70% of greenhouse gas emissions come from cities globally. COP27, I think we all know, is the annual conference that convenes global leaders to address climate change issues. There will not be any expenditure from the city of San Jose, from city taxpayers, to support this trip.
I'll move approval of item 5.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? Councilmember Arenas?
Thank you. I'm going to vote no on this item. One, because there's a lot of still issues with women's rights in Egypt, and not only that, Mayor, you have two months remaining on your term, and I think that San Jose needs to we need to focus on San Jose and making sure that we have what we need from you before leaving.
Well, you still have your hand up. Was that from before? Or?
Oh, I was just going to offer if there, I could actually explain what I'll be doing there, if that will help any understand why I'll be spending time there. In addition to, I guess, 3 speaking commitments that I'd made, this is an opportunity to meet with global foundations and intergovernmental agencies that are helpful in us actually getting resources in addition to building strong allegiances. For example, San Jose to this day is not a member of C40, which is an incredibly important global organization that enables cities throughout the nation to be able to get a lot of foundation resources to accomplish important climate work. So being a member of that organization is important. The way you get to be a member, obviously, is to be able to be part of the convenings, and be engaged with other members, and ultimately get voted in. So essentially, you got to be there, or if you don't show up, you don't get in. That's kind of the way it goes. That's one example of the many things we're working on with this conference. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands. Councilmember Arenas?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to reiterate, just last year, the Egyptian government approved a bill that requires women to get the consent of male guardians to get married, to register a child's birth, to travel abroad. Not only that, but favors fathers in child custody matters. This is, I think, while I think it's a worthwhile issue, I just don't think that this is the kind of patronage that we should have with countries that are still hindering the rights of women. Anyways, registering my vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Perales?
Yeah, thanks. I rose my hand over here in the chambers, but then I realized you can't see that. So, yeah, I will say I also was a little bit surprised when I saw it come forward, but I do appreciate the mayor being here to discuss what his participation will look like, and I can support his travel there. So, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other hands raised in the chamber, or?
I put my hand up, but I'll just briefly say I've been proud of the leadership that San Jose has done in the last few years, probably dating back 4 or 5 years now, on climate and environment. And I do think it's important that the city find a way to be globally recognized for it, and make sure that other cities are watching what we're doing and using us as a model. So I think being part of these kinds of conferences is actually important for the city of San Jose, and I will support the motion.
All right. Councilmember Arenas, you still have your hand up. Is that from before?
Yes, Chair, that's from before.
Okay. If there's no other hands raised, Tony, roll call.
Arenas?
No.
Cohen?
Aye.
Davis?
Yes.
Perales?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we go back to the public open forum, or?
Open forum, all of the hands were called before we went back to consent calendar. So
okay.
we're done.
So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.